So I'm going to show you something. And then after I'm done with him, the rest of them won't play with me.
What's good, guys? Prince Sports coming at you with another one. Now, I got influenced to do this after seeing clips of a guy talk about the top 5 or the toughest players to ever play in the NBA. Now, that word is a very tricky word, tough, all right? Because that could go both ways, and it has different meaning to different people. Some people think tough is, the guys that quote unquote a little out of their mind, a couple shells short of a taco, like the Pat Bevs, the Dennis Rodmans, the Vernon Maxwells, the Ron Artest. But then there's some people that think crazy is not the definition of tough, or of that definition. They think tough is more like, your level of play on the basketball court, play every game like it's your last, never give up. That type of toughness. So there is 2 examples of being tough. So we got to figure out, what do you mean when you say tough? And by the way, before I continue with my top 5 toughest NBA players of all time, I want to say shout out to Ron and everybody in QB. Last thing I want is for my peoples in Queens to look at this and say, oh, you called Ron Artest crazy. And I know how people in Queens get down. And I ain't promoting no beef. Ron Artest is my boy. He know I got love for him. But let's move on. Okay. Now, here's the thing. I'm gonna give some honorable mentions. All right. You got guys like Ben Wallace. Let's see who else. Tough. Vernon Maxwell was another one. Just a scrappy style player. So you got to give him his respect on that. And Isaiah Thomas, Bill Laimbeer, Charles Oakley, Anthony Mason. Man, it's a lot of these tough guys, or guys that just play, like their life on the line, basically came from the 80s and 90s for the most part, and some from the early 2000s. Now, here's my top 5. I think I put a mix of the attitude, personality tough, and the die-hard, I'm never going to give up on a basketball court tough. So at number 5, I got none other than one of the shortest players in NBA history, but he played his heart out. And he has the attitude and the heart on a basketball court to match it. And that's none other than Allen Iverson. He comes in at number 5, okay? He brought the hood to the NBA. So he was out there, talking his ish. And at the same time, he just played like every game was his last. He never gave up. And to me, that's the definition of tough, a guy that played his heart out. And tough doesn't always have to be the guy that's yelling and in your face and saying profanity in your face. That's not tough all the time, okay? If anything, some people curse a lot to back up the fact that they are a coward, and it's just a way to protect themselves. So when I say tough, I definitely just don't mean that. Now, attitude do matter, okay? Because like Jay-Z said, a closed mouth don't get fed. So that brings me down to number 4. Now, he has been, this is a little bit, going to probably spark up a little difference amongst people, a little divided, because that's none other than Kevin Garnett, okay? I think Kevin Garnett is one of the toughest players in the NBA because he gets in your face, he talks shit, all right? He goes at it, Chicago style. And I understand that some people say, oh, man, he don't act like that off the court. But when I see him talk and the way he carries himself off the court, to me, I think it's the same. I don't understand when people say that he's a fake tough guy. But he does have a reputation by some people. It's a split audience that think he's a fake tough guy. I just don't get it all the time. All right. Number 3, I got to put my boy up in there, man. This was going to be a tie between Dennis Rodman and Ron Artest. I really don't know which one to make a difference. But since Dennis Rodman won more championships, I'm going to give Dennis Rodman the edge because Dennis Rodman wasn't afraid to be himself. He gave attitude on the basketball court, and he was out there guarding some of the toughest offensive players in NBA history. So you got to give props to Dennis Rodman. So he's definitely a guy that I consider a tough guy on and off the court, because he may not have to carry himself like a macho man or whatever, but he gets the job done. And part of being tough is to be yourself, to be outspoken, and to don't care what people think of you. And Dennis Rodman never cared what people think about him. He was going to be Dennis Rodman 24/7. Number 2 is none other than Kobe Bean Bryant. Okay, tough on and off the court. He's another guy that just speak his mind, and he just go about his life. He don't care about people throwing his name in certain conversations. Kobe just don't give a fuck. All Kobe wanted to do on the basketball court was win. And that brings me down to number 1, none other than the GOAT himself, Michael Jordan. Okay, well, let's let these people go by. Now, that's so self-explanatory. Michael Jordan was just one of the guys that was obsessed with winning. Okay, he wanted to win by all means necessary. The black cat. And from what I heard, I never met the guy, but from what I heard, based off the people that met Michael Jordan and some of them that rubbed him the wrong way, he never forgot it. You ever heard the term Michael Jordan took it personal? That was Mike. Mike was just the a-hole on and off the court, from what I'm hearing. So I got to give him number 1, just for the simple fact that he was tough as nails. Jordan was down for whatever. So that's my top 5. Sports out. Peace.